Put a winch in.
That's terrible.
Put a winch in. Winch in, yeah, just what I need. I'm actually thinking a gate belt. He can put the lock on. He hops on 1 foot, and if he gets back
All
to
right,
the
I
door.
see it's
grab the
5:30.
gate belt from the back.
I'd like to call to order tonight's regular Board of Education meeting for Wednesday, February 18th, 2026, here in the boardroom. We have a roll call, please, Tammy.
John Smith.
Here.
Brett Waller.
Here.
Deb Zashbeck.
Here.
Amber DeRizzo.
Here.
Jacqueline Gremler.
Here.
Mike Cornisher.
Here.
Ron Liberty.
Here.
Paul Prue.
Here.
Kevin White.
Here. Would please stand to face the flag for our Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Merrill Area Public Schools Board of Education meeting. MAPS respects the role that our elected board members serve and the function of our board meetings. Board members and administrators are committed to working collaboratively to provide our students with the highest levels of achievement. This meeting is a formal event, and professional conduct is the expectation for all in attendance. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Murray. First on our agenda is public comment. I did not have any sheets turned in. Any members of the public looking to speak this evening? Hearing none. Normally we set some time aside for that, as well as recognition. Looks like we're saving up for next month there, so we're gonna turn things right over to our Student Board of Education reps, Parker Wagner and Eric Grunwald.
Yeah, it's been an exciting month, or it's been a short month since we saw you guys last, but next Wednesday is the annual Great Speakers Forum, where Duncan Kirkwood, who is the director of the Center of Resiliency at Villa Maria College and was a master resilience trainer in the United States Army, will be speaking to both the high schoolers and the middle schoolers next week. Next week also starts the Teen Mental Health First Aid in Health classes, where sophomores will learn different ways to manage their mental health and resources that they can reach out to. This Friday is the choir's annual dinner and a show, where this year the meal will be a classic fish fry. This week is also Kindness Week, and the Raise Your Voice Club is doing a lot around the school. Every locker has a sticky note with a kind message. People were secretly clipping their friends with kindness clothespins. A movie was played at lunch, and there are plans to write notes to teachers during third period tomorrow. It's important to remember to be kind and spread it around as much as possible.
Our wrestling team competed in sectionals last weekend in Anago, and Hunter Opper, Noah Klug, and Remington Skick made it to individual state. Remington won the 150-pound weight class. Noah placed second in the 190, and Hunter Opper also placed second for 175, so they all qualify for state. Wrestling is also going to team sectionals this Friday. Hopefully they can send the team there too. The career spotlight of the month includes commercial construction, and the Wendorf Construction Company came in to talk about owning and operating a construction company. And also they focused on electrical this month, which was talking about how to become an electrician. The second quarter YA student stars are Tia and Kaylin Morris and Lily Kufal. That's all we have.
Excellent. Thank you, Parker and Eric. Any board members have any questions from our board reps from the high school? Thank you, guys. I appreciate all the effort you put in and all the information you provide. Next on our agenda is our administrative reports. I know some of the questions are asked and answered in advance, but we'll turn it over to Mr. Murray to go through our administrative reports one at a time for us.
Thank you. Item A is the Pine River School for Young Learners monthly report. Ryan Martinovich has prepared that report and is here this evening. He also has some information coming up a little later in the agenda about some assessments and those kind of things, but if there's any questions for Ryan, he is here this evening. Item B is the food service participation report prepared by Laura Krause. That information is provided monthly, and that is for the month of January. Laura is not here, but if there were any questions, I can forward those on. Item C is the Director of Pupil Services Special Ed report. The focus there is the second Friday information in January that was shared at CTP last week. Amber's here if you have any questions for her. Item D is the Director of Curriculum Instruction report prepared by Amanda Patterson with some assistance from Heather Carr, Megan Kautzer, and Ryan Martinovich. That information, largely our mid-year screening data was presented at CTP last night. But Amber and the others are here for any questions. Amanda, the others are here if there's any questions for us. Item E is the Director of Finance report. Included in that is a budget update and the January revenue and expenses report. Mark Powell prepared that report, and Mark is here if there are any questions for Mark. Item I is the Director of Human Resources report prepared by Heather Soberg. She's here as well this evening if you have any questions about that. She's been spending a lot of time working on our staffing, particularly as we address budget constraints for next year. Some information there about X 42 and X 57 if you have any questions about that. Item G is the Director of Building and Grounds and Transportation update presented by Nicholas Zolik. He is here. He shared some information on updated or some recent projects that have been taking place around the district. And then item H is my report, superintendent's report. In my report, I just kind of give an update about, so we've been working with CISA 10, who's been doing a facility study at PRMS. They were on site with a handful of their crew engineers and different things, and we're working with them now with blueprints and energy bills and all that kind of stuff, so that's proceeding nicely. We continue to work on budget reductions. The admin team meets tomorrow again to work through some of those, and we'll be presenting that through HR Finance next month, and then on to the board. Any questions about that? Thank you.
Thank you, Shannon. Next on our agenda this evening is committee reports. We'll start with Policy Committee. Attached were the draft minutes from the February 2nd committee meeting. Paul Prue is chair, and other members of our Policy Committee are available for board member questions. Any board members have questions for our Policy Committee this evening? Seeing no hands raised, we'll move on to Finance Human Resources Committee. Attached was the draft minutes from the February 11th committee meeting. John Smith is chair, and other members of the committee are available for board member questions. Do any board members have questions for our Finance Human Resources Committee members? Hearing or seeing none, we'll move on to CTP, Curriculum Technology Pupil Services. The attached draft minutes were provided from the February 11th committee meeting. Ron Liberty is chair, and other members of CTP committee are available for board member questions. Do any board members have questions for our CTP committee members this evening? Hearing none, we'll continue on the agenda. We have nothing labeled as unfinished business, so we'll start right in on Board of Education business. The first agenda item there is approval of the Head Start Community Assessment. Attached was a topic summary sheet from Ryan Martinovich, and our Head Start Policy Council has a recommended motion. Any board member willing to make a motion in regard to this agenda item? Paul?
Move to approve the Head Start 2025-2026 Community Assessment.
Motion by Paul. Do we have a second? Second by Nubbs. Any questions or discussion in regards to this motion or agenda item? Discussion or questions in regards to this motion or agenda item? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed, say nay. Do we have any abstentions? Motion carries. Next item on our agenda is the MAPS Head Start Self-Assessment. Attached was a topic summary sheet from Ryan Martinovich. Also has a recommended motion from our Head Start Policy Council. Any board members willing to make a motion in regards to this agenda item? Mike?
Motion to approve the 2026 MAPS Head Start Self-Assessment.
Motion by Mike. Do we have a second? Second by Amber. Any discussion or questions in regards to this motion or topic? Any discussion or questions in regards to this motion or topic? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed, say nay. Any abstentions? Motion carries. Next item on our agenda is the Head Start Transportation Waiver. That topic summary sheet was provided by Ryan Martinovich. The Policy Council also has a recommended motion. Any board member willing to make a motion on this agenda item this evening? Mike?
Motion to approve the Head Start transportation waiver for the 2026-2027 school year.
We have a motion by Mike. Do we have a second? Second by Nubbs. Any discussion or questions in regards to this motion or agenda item? Any discussion or questions in regards to that motion on this agenda item? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed, say nay. Any abstentions? Motion carries. Next item on our agenda is the approval of the meal prices for the 2026-2027 school year. Attached was a topic summary sheet from Mark Powell. The recommended motion comes from our Finance Human Resources Committee. Any board member willing to make a motion on this agenda item? John?
Motion to approve the 2026-2027 meal price increases presented.
Motion by John, we have a second by Paul. Anything you want to highlight on that, Shannon? I know we've had some different things that we talked about at committee. I think one of the things that we've talked about is that we're to a point now for a year or so that we haven't done free breakfast just because we've worked into that a balance amount, so we're having to increase that, and we're working with Taher to get perhaps some more a la carte items at the high school that will work to everyone's favor and enjoyment, I guess, versus a standard lunch. But any other highlights?
No, we've been fortunate to offer free breakfasts over the years, at a time when we had a healthy fund balance, excuse me, in the food service fund. That has since been substantially reduced because of the free breakfast, so it's time to take a look at Mark did a good job of comparing our neighboring districts to get us back in line with that, and so this will get us back in a good spot.
All right. Any board members have any questions either on that motion or discussion on this agenda item? Hearing or seeing none, all those in favor of that motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed, say nay. Any abstentions? Motion carries. Next item on our agenda is updates to teacher, pupil services, and administrative compensation plans. Attached was a topic summary sheet from Heather Soberg. The recommended motion comes from our Finance Human Resources Committee. Any board members willing to make a motion on this topic? Paul?
I motion to approve the teacher, pupil services, and administration compensation plans as presented.
Motion by Paul, do we have a second? Second by Mike. Any discussion or questions in regards to this agenda item or motion? Any highlights we should make on that, or that Mark wanted to, or Heather wanted to make?
I want to applaud Mark and Heather for doing their homework on this and comparing what other districts are doing. We want to make sure that we're in line with our neighbors and competitive, and I think this is a plan that honors the CPI levels currently, as well as keeps us competitive with our neighbors. So I think this is a solid plan for us.
All right. Any follow-up questions either on the motion or this agenda item by board members? All right, hearing or seeing none, all those in favor of that motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed, say nay. Any abstentions? Motion carries. Next, we will start in on some policy work. We have a first reading, Neola Volume 35, Number 1, Policy Update. The policy is a new policy, 5135, Student Information Numbers and Cards. There is a recommended motion from our Policy Committee. Any board member willing to make a motion in regards to this agenda item? Mike?
Motion to approve new policy 5135, student identification numbers and cards as a first reading.
Motion by Mike. Do we have a second? Second by Nubbs. Any discussion or questions in regards to this motion on this agenda item? Any discussion or questions in regards to this motion? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed, say nay. Any abstentions? Motion carries. Next policy we have a first reading on would be policy 1240, evaluation of the district administrator. We have a recommended motion from our policy committee. Anyone willing to make a motion in regards to this policy? Paul?
Motion to approve policy 1240, evaluation of the district administrator as a first reading.
Motion by Paul. We have a second by Mike. Any discussion or questions in regards to this agenda item or the motion on this agenda item? Any discussion or questions in regards to this agenda item or motion? Hearing none, all those in favor of this motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, say nay. Any abstentions? Motion carries. Next item on our agenda is the Fayette Bratz Trust donation for the Merrill High School Band Endowment. Attached was a donation form and memo from Ellie Wilk. Due to the fact that this donation is over the $2,500 limit set in policy 7230, this donation comes to the board separately for approval versus being placed in consent agenda. Any board member willing to make a motion in regard to this agenda item? Nubbs?
I move to approve the donation from the Fayette Bratz Trust in the amount of $30,000 for the Merrill High School Band Endowment Fund.
We have a motion by Nubbs. Do we have a second? We have a second by Mike. Any discussion or questions in regards to this agenda item? Motion? Go ahead, John.
Is there currently a fund called Merrill Band Endowment?
It's just the Merrill Merchant J's activity account, so we work through time, to reconcile that.
But
Yeah.
there's an established
Merchant
fund with
J's.
that name?
Yep.
Any additional questions or discussion on this agenda item or that motion? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, say nay. Any abstentions? Motion carries. Before I ask for a motion on the consent agenda, I'll ask if any board members would like any items pulled off the consent agenda to be dealt with and discussed individually. Please do.
You draw your attention to C down below, claims and vouchers. Ron Cockey brought it to our attention today that the January and February wire transfer reports, the timing was off. So the January one, which was approved in the consent agenda last month, is now accurate with that timing adjustment. It's not a material change, but we wanted to be accurate. And so that's now, the January report is included in this, the corrected January report is included in this consent agenda.
All right, thank you for the explanation on that. I would look at this time for someone to be willing to do the motion for consent agenda. Ron?
Motion to approve consent items A through E, which includes second reading and approval of bylaw 0100 definitions, bylaw 0142.7 orientation, bylaw 0144.5 board member behavior, communications, and code of conduct, policy 1210 board district administrative relationship, policy 1230.01 development of administrative guidelines, policy 2131.01, reading instructional goals in kindergarten assessment, policy 2261.01, parent and family engagement in Title I programs, policy 2431, interscholastic activities, athletics, policy 5112, entrance age, policy 5411, third grade promotion and retention, at-risk students, policy 6152.01, waiver of school fees or fines, and policy 7540.02, digital content and accessibility. Minutes of the January 28, 2026 meeting, February claims, vouchers, and receipts totaling $2,735,841.06. The corrected January claims, vouchers, and receipts totaling $2,853,596.98. Donations totaling $1,550. In the attached personnel report, contingent upon release of contracts for hiring and upon the satisfaction of the appropriated liquidated damages for resignations if relevant.
We have a motion by Ron. Do we have a second? Second by Mike. All those in favor of that motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, say nay.
Just for comment's sake, Hazley Bennell is on that personal report, and she's been hired as our new finance director. She'll be taking over. Mark's going to stay on board until January 1st of 2027, and then Hazley will be taking over the reins. So congratulations, Hazley. And we appreciate you applying for the Grow Your Own program, working on your master's, and doing all the things that we've asked you to do. So congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Consent agenda there passed accordingly. No abstentions. Next on our agenda is items for future meetings. We do have a spot here, and the purpose there is if board members thought of something since the last committee meetings, if they want something either addressed by the entire board at the next regular board meeting or mentioned here so it's kept track of for the next committee meetings, feel free to mention that. We have a couple items that we've already talked about that are being worked on. What's going on at the middle school, we'll continue to hear about moving forward, and some other budget work that's being done as months progress here. Any board members have items they would like to mention for future meetings? If not, keep in mind that you can reach out to myself or Shannon for any regular board meeting agenda items, or also talk to any of the committee chairs for items to be placed on committee meetings. Reminder that tomorrow morning, as most Thursday mornings, I believe around 8:15 in the morning, there's on Blue Jay 730 radio, we go through community scan, which talks about on Thursdays things happening in the MAPS school district. So Shannon and I will be on tomorrow going through tonight's board meeting and things that are being updated through Eric and Parker and other people in our district. Reminder of future meetings. Bridges Virtual Academy Governance meeting is Thursday, February 19th, 12:45 p.m. They meet virtually. We do have a special board meeting next Tuesday, February 24th, 5:30 p.m. in the boardroom. Head Start Policy Council meets Tuesday, March 10th, 5:30 p.m. at Pine River School for Young Learners. On March 11th at 3:30 p.m. we do have the Facilities Committee meeting, followed by Curriculum Technology Pupil Services at 4:30 p.m. Once again, that's Wednesday, March 11th. Finance Human Resources Committee meets also that evening, Wednesday, March 11th, no sooner than a 5 p.m. start here in the boardroom. School Forest Advisory meeting is Monday, March 16th, 4 p.m. out at the Merrill School Forest. The next regular board meeting is scheduled for Wednesday, March 18th at 5:30 p.m. here in the boardroom. did have a placeholder this evening in case we needed to go to executive closed session. We did not have any requests for the end of this month for parental requests for student opt-out of state assessment, so that's why we had that placeholder, so we will not be doing that. Anything else we're missing?
Yeah, policy, the March 2nd policy committee meeting is listed on there, that's at 4:30 on March 2nd.
All right, March 2nd, 4:30 PM, policy committee meets here in the boardroom.
Yes.
All right, sounds good. Next, I would ask the board member to be willing to make our final motion of the evening. John?
Motion to adjourn.
Motion by John.
I'll second that.
Second by Nubbs. All those in favor of adjourning at 5:55 PM signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed, say nay. Thank you all for your attendance.